Hey, this is Coach Anderson, Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online, U.S. history from 1877 to present. We're picking up with Unit 14, The Rise of Modern America, and we're going to start with lesson number 10, Summative Assessment of Modern America. We always tell you that when we go through each one of those lessons, we give you a unit focus question, and we tell you at the end of the unit, we'll go over them and try to give you an insight in terms of what those answers could possibly be. Well, the first one is, how has globalization affected the development of modern America? Number two, how has grievance affected the American political landscape? So let's look at both of those questions and see what you could have possibly come up with in terms of what the answers could have been. How has grievance affected the American political landscape? In contemporary politics, grievances are often weaponized to mobilize voters and secure electoral success. Politicians may exploit real or perceived wrongs to galvanize their base, even if the narrative is exaggerated or based on misinformation. For instance, the fact that when you looked at the birtherism movement, that it is a wave that President Trump, of course, rides to the presidency when he accuses Barack Obama of not even being an American, and then accuses him, of course, of being a Muslim. So when you look at these types of things, this is an example of how grievance allows someone, of course, to become president of the United States of America. Number two, how has globalization affected the development of modern America? Technology and innovation fuel U.S. globalization by enhancing communication, transportation, and trade. The internet, advancements in computing, and faster logistics made international business and cross-border interactions more efficient and interconnected. The world got smaller, and social media exploded, fostering interconnectedness with people all over the world. So what we're looking at now is that everything's more democratized. People can put their opinions out there, they can put their information on the internet, they can do work from home. So we're going to find that when the world becomes more globalized because of the internet and social media and stuff like that, everything, of course, is local now. Where it used to be international, it becomes more local in nature because of the quick access that a person in Germany can have to the resources here in the United States of America or in Asia or somewhere else in the outer reaches, of course, of the world. All right, what we're going to do is look at some practice questions that you may see, of course, that will pop up on your benchmark assessment or even at the state test assessment. And if you do well on some of these, that bodes very well for you doing, of course, very well when the state assessment does roll around. What effect did Operation Iraqi Freedom, which lasted from 2003 to 2011, have on the role of the United States in the Middle East? The U.S. role in the Middle East shifted from that of a trade partner to that of a peacekeeper. The U.S. role in the Middle East shifted from that of a peacekeeper to that of an economic advisor. C, the United States shifted to a less active role in the Middle East after deposing a former Iraqi dictator. The United States shifted to a more active role in the Middle East by providing the new Iraqi government with security against insurgents. And the answer is D. Iraq, Afghanistan. It wasn't just the fighting of the war. The United States of America became more involved in those countries after the war, And we're going to find that in some cases, more American lives are going to be lost during the periods after the wars where the United States of America is needed there as a peacekeeper. 2, which type of spending has been most responsible for the growth of the national debt? A, spending on national defense and Homeland Security. B, spending on unemployment compensation and education. C, spending on programs related to healthcare services and retirement. D, spending on programs related to global warming and international affairs. There's probably 2 possible answers that you might want to look at. A, the spending on national defense and Homeland Security. There's a lot of money always in defense spending, but probably more would be in C, spending on programs related to healthcare services, because you have Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, Obamacare now. So the answer would probably be C. All right. This chart shows the result of the 2016 U.S. presidential election in which Donald Trump, of course, defeated Hillary Clinton with the electoral count vote of 232 to 306. But the popular vote, as you see, was 65,853,000 to 62,985,000. What was considered somewhat unusual about the outcome of this election? A, the winner of the election lost the popular vote. The winner of the election lost the electoral vote. The Senate determined the winner of the election. D, the House of Representatives determined the winner of the election. Well, the answer very simply is when you see who wins the election, Donald Trump, he wins the election, but he loses the popular vote. So the best answer is the winner of the election lost the popular vote. Which of the following actions or policies during President Donald Trump's first term, 2017-2021, had the most significant impact on U.S. domestic and foreign affairs? A, the implementation of the formal Affordable Care Act, or the ACA, also known as Obamacare, so it can't be that. The withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement and the reorganization of the trade policy with China. C, the signing of the Immigration and Nationality Act. D, the establishment of the United States Space Force as a new branch of the military. The answer would be B, when he drew the United States of America from the Paris Climate Accords, which the United States of America promptly rejoined when Joseph Biden becomes President of the United States. Which of the following actions taken by President Barack Obama in response to the 2008 banking and financial crisis was most directly aimed to stabilize the U.S. economy? A, the creation of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. B, the implementation of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act and the Troubled Asset Relief Program. C, the signing of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. D, the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq and Afghanistan. The best answer, in my belief, would probably be B, the implementation of the A.R., American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Which of the following major events during George W. Bush's presidency most significantly shaped the nation's response to global security? A, September 11, 2000 terrorist attack and the subsequent war on terror. B, the passage of the Affordable Care Act, ACA, the rise of the U.S. stock market bubble in 1999, the signing of the North American Free Trade Agreement. Well, everybody in America knows the answer to that one, and that would be A, the September 11 terrorist attacks. All right, what we try to do is to give you some insights in terms of modern America, from the presidencies, of course, George W. Bush, through the presidency of Donald Trump, of course, and then the election of Joseph Biden. And one of the things that we could tell you about that particular period is that we're going to find the United States of America has an increased role, not that we haven't always had a role, of course, in foreign affairs, but we're going to find that it's going to be more of a consistent role of the United States of America in the affairs of nations in the Middle East, particularly because of ISIS and other threats from the Taliban and Al Qaeda. So when we look at the United States of America in the modern period, we talk about an America, of course, that is constantly under threat from terrorist organizations like those that we previously mentioned. We also look in America, of course, that's finding its way in a global society with the advent, of course, and the increased use of the internet and social media. And we also look in an America, of course, that has some questions to answer in terms of what kind of America it's going to be when it comes to the immigration issues and when it comes to grievance and politics and partisanship. So when we look at the United States of America and the rise of modern America, there are a lot of more questions that still require answers, and hopefully, at some point, the United States of America will start to address those particular issues. This is Coach Anderson from Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online, U.S. History from 1877 to present, and with that, we'll see you next time.